Hey everybody, welcome back to the last flight on our around the U.S. tour. We are in Detroit at Detroit International Airport. We're heading down to Washington and going to KIAD. So let's hop on board the aircraft and we'll get her set up for the final flight of the tour. Alright. So we're on board, so we're gonna get that going. And everything else is looking good. So let me just get my FlyPad password here and we'll get that entered in. So I'm running the latest version of the A320 as of when I'm recording this. Putting that in. Hit that first. There we go. So the flight plan is in. Weather looks good. A little bit of stuff down by the coast. It's not reporting anything too big at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. So let's start getting this set up. And we'll run through our flight here. So parking brake is on. I'll make sure that's on. Flaps are up. Speed brake and spoilers retracted and disarmed. Weather radar is off. Predictive wind shear is off. Engine masters 1 and 2 are in idle, are in cutoff. Throttles are in idle. Igniter is in normal. Gear is down. Confirmed. And we can start going through our setup. So batteries come on. External power is confirmed on. Brake pressure is down. Aircraft's been sitting for a while. We'll dial up the lights. So I've been watching some PMPG videos on the new DC-6, which is coming out next month. Sometime next month. Hopefully not at the end of the month. It would be nice if it was more towards the beginning. I'm getting a few ideas of what I can do with that aircraft. I'm thinking of doing a series on live streams. It's a slower airplane. It's about half the speed and it flies lower. So I'm thinking of doing shorter flights, a couple hours, and seeing the world with it. That could be interesting. And do it on live streams. It's something different. There's a little bit more work involved in flying it and managing it, so it could be good to go. So APU fire test. We'll get up there and do that. APU fire test is good. Crew oxygen supply is now on. Cockpit voice recorder is set. ADIR is coming online. Exterior lights, we have wing and logo. Or sorry, nav and logo lights are on. Seatbelt signs are on. Portable devices signs are on. External, the emergency exit lights are armed. And the cabin crew, you are cleared aboard. So annunciator lights are good. Is everybody coming aboard now? Probe window heats are on automatic. Aircraft temperature is fine. ECAM page is good. That's good. Engine fire test 1. Engine fire test 2. Flight director is coming online. 1 and 2. And barrel. The current weather is a barometer of 3016. So we'll switch that over to inches. And we'll go to 3016. EFIS is set up the way I like it. FCU we'll do in a minute. Radio. Let's see how it does holding the frequency and not switching it on us. So there's 122.8 and MCDU data. So we'll bring in the flight plan. KDTW, that's Detroit, to KIAD. This is Washington International. There's two. There's this one and there's DCA, which I think is DCA is the one right inside Washington. This one's just outside Virginia. Cost index 25. Cruise level of 390. Be interesting to see if we get there. It is a bit longer flight. And Tropo is 35429. So we'll put 35429 in there, and that is fine. We'll go into here. We'll grab the weather just to make sure that we sync with the sim. We'll send that off. I'll go into weight and balance. We'll get the fuel in a second. Actually, let's do the fuel now, since we're to this stage. So we're going to go dispatch. We're going to go fuel. I am going to pop the panel out because I still don't trust it to do its thing without commencing a pushback. We want 5, 4, 8, 3. I'm going to go realistic on the time. There we go. And it is now setting our fuel. We'll come back down here to our loads, check our payload, 18,920. We'll check our passengers, 180. That's fine. And we will load that in. So when our fuel gets down to the right thing, we should be at the right gross weight, which we will check. Should be 65.4 when we get there. And that is all good. So back to initialization, back to our weight. So zero fuel weight is 59.9 and 30.0 for the center of gravity, and our fuel will be 5.4 with a trip wind of headwind of only 2 today, which is very nice. So for our flight plan, we are departing Detroit on runway 04 right, and we will be taking the lids to departure. There she is. And Grivy, yes, Grivy is correct. So punch that in. Now for our arrival, we are going into the ILS for runway 01 right on the Gibbs 4, spelled with the obligatory Zulu. And I'm looking for BRV. Where is BRV?
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you. After you put your carry-on items in the overhead bin and it is full, make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can get by you. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please review the exit seating responsibilities in the safety card provided for you. Please make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you, and welcome aboard.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if BRV is. BKW we can do. We should be coming in via MGW. There we go. You're going to be doing one of these where you don't like that area. Okay, so if I bring up the chart. So it was 01 right. the Gibbs 4. The BRV. And the MGW. Doesn't like that one. Well, that is the one we want. So put that in. Transition. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. And that seems to be fine. So let's take a look, see what that has put in. So we'll go to plan out to 40. So we're going to take off and we're going to arc down and around. That's fine. That looks right. We'll just scroll through that. We're going to come down, MGW, all the way down. Yeah, it's adding in these weird points. We should actually just come down here and then we'll be vectored in. But that seems to work. If we look at yeah, that's fine. From this point here, we'll just extend out and then we'll come around and do our own arc in. We do have vectors anyway, so that will actually work okay. So you can go back to there, you can go to there, and we'll go come back down. We'll finish our setup. 18,000 feet being the traditional transition altitude here in North America. It'll be flaps 1 and 0.3 down on the trim. We're not flexing. Flex temp still not available due to the calculator being broken. And the GPS primary is done. Excellent. So that is now all set. So we got our V speeds are entered in, and if we look at our gross weight, 65.4, and oop, that's not what I want. 65.4. Excellent. So that is all up and set. And we are pretty much good to go. So the MCU data is in, MCU data is set, RadNav check. We don't need anything for the departure. IFR clearance taken as given. IRSs are aligned. Flight plan has been reviewed. EFIS nav aids are done. Takeoff briefing we've discussed. Squawk we will set to 2000 North American Standard, and we'll do a quick look at the departure, just so you can see where we're going. So we'll bring up the Navigraph. Here we go. So we're taking off in this direction out to Beset. You can see it on the nav display there. And we're going to come down this way, out and down towards Gravy. So we're going to basically fly between the two lakes here, and then down and out and over, and we're heading on our route. If we take a look at it, go over Lake Erie and down, and then we come in this way into Washington. So not a long flight, should be pretty straightforward. All right. So sounding that we are ready to go. So let's get the jetway pulled. There she goes, and we'll take a look around and get ready for pushback. Alright, it's not a long taxi. We're just going down over to that end there. We got a bunch of other aircraft heading out to 04 left, as we can see. That's good, so let's jump inside. We'll get the pushback going. So APU. APU's on. Wait a few seconds. APU starting. MCDU weights are all entered in and correct. We've confirmed. MCDU takeoff performance is all complete. 132 is our V1 speed. 133 is our rotation speed. 137 is our climb speed. You can see our flap retraction speed. That's all here. S speed is 193 today. It's all good. And on the PFD, we've got 132, 137, our V1 and V2 entered in. That is good to go. So you can go to that. For our initial climb out, there was a restriction of 7,000 for Swindle and 15,000 for Kezlov. So we'll enter 7,000 in, just as the initial hit, and there's a maximum speed of 230 at Besset. So we'll dial that in too. Then we can go up to 240 once we get past that. Alright, so the APU is available. APU bleed's coming on. Fans are up and running. APU generator is now running, so the APU can come off. Air conditioning is on. So windows and doors are locked. Cockpit door is now locked. Fuel pump's coming on. Beacon light is on. Steering pin will be inserted. Transponder is on. TCAS is in standby. And let's call the ground.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Alright, as soon as they come in, we'll start the clock. And we're going to want to be facing in that southward direction. So this has been a fun flight. Our fun trip going around the US. We did the whole circle of it. There we go. Clock is running. Detroit's busy today.
You are clear behind, and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Just waiting to start the turn. Oh, wrong way. There we go.
Across your lap. To fasten, insert the middle fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion
Ignition
of the
to
buckle.
go,
Please
and
adjust
starting
the
engine number one.
the entire flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits on this aircraft. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. In case of an emergency and we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor that will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards
Not too bad.
Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires
Pushback complete.
assistance,
Set parking
secure
brakes,
your
please.
mask on first and then assist
Parking
others.
brake
Parking
is
brake
set.
set.
Keep your mask on
Roger.
until a member
Okay,
of
the
crew
tow bar
advises
is
you to
disconnected
release
and the
your
equipment is clear. We
In the
will see you on the left
unlikely
side
event
with
of
the
a
pin.
water landing, a life
Thanks,
vest
and you
is
can disconnect
located
and go to
in
hand
the
signals.
under your seat
Thanks.
or
Have a good
behind
flight.
you.
See you later.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic
All right,
pouch and remove
so
the
they're
vest.
gone.
Flip it over your head. Wrap
There
the
goes
straps around
the
your waist and
toes.
buckle up
Normally
the
they
strap.
come out,
Hold the
show you
straps
that they've
tightly.
pulled the
To
pin that
replace
goes
the
into
vest,
the
pull
nose
firmly
gear
on the
so
red
that they
cord
can
only
push
when
without
exiting the aircraft.
pushing against
If
the
your life vest
hydraulics.
does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces
Good
for
start
manual
on engine
inflation.
number 1.
This vest is
Starting
equipped
engine
with
number
a
2.
whistle and light. If
Nice day here, although it was snowing in the Toronto area yesterday at the end of May. Unbelievable. Ooh, hear all the air units coming in. Alright. So engine 2 is available. APU bleed off. APU's off. Put the beacon on? Yeah, I did put the beacon on. And ignition back to normal. Anti-ice not required at this point. Alright, so pre-taxi auto brake will go to max. Spoilers are armed. Flaps 1. Engine anti-ice not required. Flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and trim. We will go to 0.3 down on the trim, 0 on the indicating on the rudder, and we have 0 on the gauge. A few more aircraft leaving. And steering pin has been removed. So nose light will go to taxi. Runway turn off lights are on. Strobes are off, parking brake off. And TO config check. And we'll ding the cabin now since we're not far to go.
cabin is secure, ready for departure.
There we go. So we're ready to go. So we're just gonna head down here to the runway. Oh, well, a little bit more power. There we go. So I know there's been some people talking about issues with the aircraft with recent updates. Hoping we don't see that, especially with coming in on approach and landing. So we're I'm not expecting it. We're just gonna taxi down here. Almost down to the end of the runway. And we should be good to take off after that guy over there. After he rolls. Oh, there's an aircraft flying overhead. Alright, so we're going to make the right turn. Here we don't need the full runway, it is 12,000 feet. And there's nobody inbound at the moment. These guys should also be showing up on the TCAS, which is going to be interesting to see. Here we go. So we'll turn in here. Winds are a little strong here today, gusting up to about 20. They're about 12 knots or so. There we go. So parking brake on. So cabin is notified. Exterior lights are all on. Nose wheel light to take off. Anti-ice not required. Packs will stay on. TCAS is TARA. Transponder is on, and we are above on the TCAS. I don't think that's working yet. Weather radar is on. Predictive wind shear is on. Weather mode is weather plus turbulence, and takeoff memo no blue. Got an aircraft inbound. I think I got another aircraft inbound. No, he's leaving. This one's inbound. I'm not sure what runway he's departing. He's landing on the far one, so we're good to go. So we'll move out now. You can see them now appearing on the TCAS. He's landing on the far one. Take our position here. An aircraft crossing the runway at the far end. Alright, so he's now cleared the runway. So we are good to go. So brakes are set. Engines to 50%. Engines are spooling. Stabilized. Brakes are released. And throttles to take off power. So we got Mantoga SRS. It's 100 knots. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Very nice. Throttles to climb. Autopilot on. Speed will go to 230. Alright. Through S speed. Flaps 1. There's our speed limit. So once we're through Best here, we'll be able to make that turn, and then we can go up to 250 knots. Lake Erie off in the distance. There's the turn. That's just starting to level out. So we go to 250 knots now. We're going to hold 7,000 feet until we cross the border. The border runs through this river here. Between the lake here. And then Lake Erie. This isn't one of the Great Lakes. It's a small feeder. I can never remember the name of it. There's downtown Detroit. We flew over there coming in to the airport. Flew over, then made a left turn and came in when we arrived the other day. So it's nice that the weather radar now only shows precipitation. We don't have those massive color bands and on everything now. Works really well. And the TCAS is nice too, so it's very, very cool. Keeps getting better and better. I know a couple of those releases had to do with what Asobo did with the sim, but in conjunction with the fly-by-wire guys, it's looking really, really good. Alright. So we're on to the next waypoint. So we'll go for 15,000. That's our next restriction. Begin that climb. Again, our cruise altitude for today is 39,000 feet. Shouldn't be climbing that fast. Let's get her down to something reasonable here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 2,000 feet. You may turn on larger portable electronic devices.
Now you can go into
This is
that
also
mode.
a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight.
Alright,
Do
so
not form a line
you
near
can come
the
off,
launch
you can
point.
come off,
This
you can come
aircraft
off.
is equipped with onboard
You're
Wi-Fi.
off.
If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you'll be directed to a page via small
And you're off.
internet access. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV and paid music library.
And you can go to manage speed mode because you're going to want to accelerate up now. Since we're above 10,000.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when needed in case of unexpected turbulence.
See if I can figure out the name of that lake. It is annoying me now. Lake St. Clair. That's right. Lake Huron feeds into Lake St. Clair, which then feeds into Lake Erie. It's kind of the little brother of the Great Lakes. Alright, so there's 13,500 feet. I'm going to leave you with some views. And we'll pick up with you on the descent. See you in a bit. Alright, welcome back to the
We have
cockpit.
begun our final descent into Washington. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
As you can see, we've got some weather coming up. We're starting to go between cloud layers here. We're at 11,000 feet. We're just about to start descending down through 10,000 on our way down. Our next drop, once we pass Mosul, which we just did, is down to 9,000 feet. So we'll start down. Get the landing systems on since we'll be passing through 10,000. And we'll get the landing lights on. Taxi lights as well. We're 10 degrees or above, so we shouldn't have any icing issues. Let's turn that VOR on. It's just pointing towards the airport. It's Washington Dulles, 40 miles away. That's pretty imposing clouds there. So 9,000 at B Mitch is our next restriction, and 7,000. And we have a 3,000 foot platform altitude we have to get down to. So everything's cleaned up in the back. The crew's been working to get the cabin ready. We're at 250 knots. So we got a 9,000 foot minimum here at B Mitch. 7,000 on the next one. Slowly working our way down. It's a pretty cool image. Ooh, that's a big thunder. What if it's raining down below? Well, we're gonna find out in a minute. Alright, down we go. I think this is going to take us into the top of the clouds. It's at 12 degrees, 13 degrees. Should be alright. Well, we definitely should see some rain since this is now picking up precipitation, so should have some light rain down here. Light to moderate rain. And here's the clouds. A little bit of turbulence. Be nice to be able to set the weather radar to tilt up or down. Get a better idea of what's below us rather than just out in front of us. Not sure how wide that angle is. Oh, there's TCAS popping up. Somebody's off in that direction. Said they may have departed Washington. Alright. Down to 6,000. There we're picking up the ILS ISGC. Is that the one? Must be the other side. We want IIAD. When we get there. Alright, we're going to bring the speed back to 240 now. 6,000 feet coming up. Heading towards the sunny J point. Oh, there's the rain. When we make the turn at sunny J, we'll drop to 5,000. Do right now is that. Go into approach mode. Put you back on. So we're not going to put you back on. We'll just go manually. Should be a little bit lighter with the rain once we get out of this band here. Alright, so we're going to want to go to 168. There we go. It's going to take us down to Sayab. Down to 5,000. Speed back to 230. So we've come out of the rain. So a little bit on and off now. Alright, so now we're going to want to head 1902. This puts us basically on the downwind. And what we will do is Mosby here, the Mosby waypoint. We're gonna, once we get out here, we'll make a left turn and we'll aim back in towards it, and that will be for our intercept. Currently 10 miles away. So we're going to descend to 4,000. Start getting everything ready. So speed brakes are armed. I'm going to be auto brake 1. Lights are all on. Put our wing lights on. Cabin is secured. And we are armed and set. You can see how it's kind of pointing us out towards this other waypoint to bring us around. That's fine, it got us 90% of the way there, and we will do the rest. Great weather to be winding this flight up with. Alright, let's get down to 3,000 feet. Going on 220 knots. And direct Mosby. And there we go. Looks like we broke out of the bottom of the clouds. The train radar on, just as a reference. Plenty of cloud here. Looks like we may get a little bit more rain on the way in. Okay, we're going up to intercept our approach in, which should give us a decent angle. One 0.1, that is correct. – 3,000 feet. Go into approach mode. See ILS coming in. We have the localizer. We're 16 miles out. 210 knots. Alright. Looking good so far. Just getting ourselves onto that line. Just 2.5 miles out. We do not have the glide slope yet. So localizer is armed. Oh, we don't want that. Let's get her turned back around. Why she decided to head for a user waypoint there. I'll have to. Oops, what did I just click? I don't know what I just clicked. Let's just keep this thing cranking around the other side. That's what it was. We're gonna have to come in from the other way. Do the intercept. Something about there. There we go. So we're now level. Now we'll go to approach mode. Let's see how it handles this. Seems to be working better. Holding an altitude, localizers alive, glide slopes alive. Going to flaps 1. Localizer is in capture mode. Glide slope is coming down. Localizer is boxed. Glide slope is boxed. Localizer is captured. Glide slope is captured. It's on 8 miles out, going to flaps 2. And gear down. It's 2,000 feet. Sting the cabin.
Cabin crew seats for that.
Oh, finally lined up. So we'll be about 10 minutes early, which is good. Flaps 2 or flaps 3. It's 4 miles. Flaps full. Slowing down to approach speed. Thousand feet to go. So my passengers are very satisfied, 96%, on this miserable day here in Washington. A lot of low cloud and fog.
500.
500 feet to go.
400. 300.
We have the airport in sight.
200. 100 above. 100.
Landing.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
You're down. Reverser's on. Reverser's green. Auto brakes green. Say we're back in the rain. 60 knots. Reverser's off. Auto brakes off. Take the high speed here. Well, welcome to the end of our Around the U.S. tour.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Washington. The local time is 6:01 p.m. and it's currently about 54 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins, as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey.
Speed brake disarmed. Those up. That's landing lights off. Spoilers or strobe lights off. Turn off lights off. Wing lights are off. Weather radar off. PWS is off. Transponder to standby, and TCAS off as well. Let's go find a gate. Then we're going to go on to D, Delta. We're going to go up here and we'll get off at Delta and take Delta in. This, by the way, is the famous Dulles Airport from, was it Die Hard 2? When they had the big thing at the airport. This is the airport they were supposed to be at, I believe. Alright, so we're going to go in here. This guy's just driving wherever he wants to go. Oh, he's in the truck route. That's good. Should have waited for us, but that's fine. Just kind of taking wide corners there. All right. Oh. I think this is going to be us. I don't see any real taxi lines, so we'll just have to make it up as we go. Kind of center up on this set of concrete blocks. something like that should do. Jump on board, see if we have external power. We don't, that's fine. We will get the APU up and running and we can use that. So, I'll get off those lights. So parking brake is set. Turn off all the nav aids. There we go. FCU is reset. Flight directors 1 and 2 are off. Auto thrust and autopilot are off. NDs are reset down to 10 arc and clear on the constraints and indicators. Waiting for the APU. Let's get them moving the jetway out now. Oh, not available. Okay. Gonna be like that. That's fine. APU is available, so APU comes on. APU generator is on, so engines will come off. And there's the logbook. Fuel pumps will now come off. Beacon light will come off. Seatbelt signs and portable devices will come off. External power not on. Transponder's off. And Roger can go say goodbye to everybody. Oh, other way. There you go. So, here we are in Washington, the end of that trip and the end of our tour. Thank you very much for flying with us, and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.